things will come when they need to come, but things can only come when you have set yourself up for that success or for those things in life.
From Khona Juta De Beer, imina umsindisi wesizwe, umvelisi engangomelisi wesizwe, formerly known as Lwazi Madonsela, bringing you a show about creative entrepreneurs live from the landmark that not only birth SA street culture but also formalize the street hustle.
Khona Juta De Beer, special edition. The second coming. This is the first in history. Probably won't ever happen again. We had to bring you back.
So grateful to be back. What's up?
Imvelo Jaxa.
That's it. That's it right there.
Creatively known as Jackson.
Thank you.
Streets know Jackson. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good. I think the first question I really had today when I sat down and thought about it, it's like, how are you an ambassador for a global brand? Like, how does that actually feel? Because most of us is like, hey, there's a gig here and there, you're balancing. You're like an ambassador, like this is real. They know you're at the head office.
At the head office in Scotland, I hope so. How does it feel? It's an honor, obviously. I mean, Johnnie Walker's not like some small anyana brand. It's like a global brand. It's a testament, hopefully, to the stuff that I do in the world and that they would want to be associated with someone like me. And I think it represents quality. The Scotch is quality. I'm quality.
Now I'm taking that. I'm the quality.
But yeah, it's an honor. I would lie. It's been a good year. We're going into another year with Johnnie Walker. We've had the greatest experiences. So yeah, I'm happy.
Speaking of Johnnie Walker, like, how do you keep working as a creative in all these spheres? Because like, yeah, studying events, you're closing events. There's all these things you're doing.
How do we keep walking? We just wake up and do it again and again and again. And when we are riddled with anxiety, we go to therapy. We find solves. And I say, speaking about myself, like I have to exercise at least 3 times a week. I meditate every morning so that I can keep walking and keep creating and curating. So yeah, it's actually an inspirational little tagline that you just keep moving forward even when the chips are down.
How did you manage to carve your way? Because I heard the house party stories, but like, how did you carve your way formally in the office? Because most of us as young Black creative kids, we're just sitting there saying, yo, I know this for sure. I know this is what people like. But then in that corporate environment, how do you actually, yo, this is us. We're good for it. Trust us.
I think it wasn't always like that. I think it starts with always wanting to produce quality over chasing money, for example, or over chasing fame. So you create and you create and you create. And then at some point you understand what quality means. And that's how you get corporate to buy into you, because they know that you're not just doing it for the money, you're doing it to actually just shift the culture. By the way, I hate the word culture now. I think it's just a blanket statement now for anything, really. People say they're shifting the culture even when they're not, you know, and I think over the past couple of years, we've kind of misunderstood what culture is, and then we just slap it onto everything without actually moving the needle.
Speaking of the culture term, my friend said, bring back gatekeeping. Because he was like, I feel like too many people are now able to express too many first draft ideas.
Yeah.
For you, how have you like figured that? I think this idea is really worth putting out to the world.
First drafts are important, I think. Otherwise, we don't create. So I wouldn't say we need to gatekeep more things, because I'm an advocate for like more event companies, you know, more influencers, more architects, more politicians. I believe in always continuing to do more. So I don't think I prescribe to we need to bring back gatekeeping. I do think though there are times when people are doing things for the wrong reasons, and then that's how we get to what you were saying, like the first draft it sucks. But how are people ever going to learn if they're not doing the first draft? You know, no one walks into any industry and automatically knows what to do, how to do it, and when to do it. So I'm anti-gatekeeping. Open up the gates, yo. Open up the industry.
How's it being a team player? Because we all have our egos.
It's hard. You know, in eventing, you'll see like, maybe people have jacked your style or like, you know, it's like,
If you know the jackers, put in the comments.
you know, have duplicated what you do. But because I don't have an insane ego, that doesn't bother me. It actually motivates me. Like the more people copy and paste a Sunday roast, it's like, okay, cool, shit. I did my job well. Like people want to duplicate what I've done. Yeah, I don't know if I've answered the question, but I think, yeah, doesn't bother me.
Do you have any ambitions for you now that you're an ambassador? What are you looking at? Because every time I get a little check, I'm like, yeah, we can get the whole thing. You see what I did with 10 Rand?
What can I do with 20? Do I have any ambitions in what sense?
In the sphere of Johnnie Walker, in the sphere of alcohol, what you'd like to do, what you have a proposition for?
I would like to, hopefully I've done it the past year, but more this year. I would actually like to teach more people about whiskey, right? I'm not a connoisseur, but I think in the past it's always been framed as like this male drink, or these people that wear suits every day, and like the lawyers and the accountants. But as a beverage, I drink it with ice. It can do so many things, and I'd like to remove the stigma that like whiskey's for men, or like, you know, whiskey must be drank neat, or you're compromising it. I do believe that, but that's because I'm closer. And so, yeah, with whiskey, I'd like for more people to just kind of understand that it's open to everyone and everyone can enjoy it. Yeah.
What's the importance of brand partners, or like eventing? Because that's your sphere.
Brand partners are so important because very few people have the capital to do an event. And brands have more budget, but also brands who know how to dream, or kind of like aren't in the status quo, can help you build an event and make it bigger. So you look at a Johnnie Walker and a Sunday Roast, for example. You know, it was brand who pushed us to like leave Great Dane. You know, and I know many people are like, oh, it should have always stayed at Great Dane, but then many people wouldn't have experienced the Sunday Roast if that was the case, because Great Dane was too small. So brand kind of gives you like a leg up in the ways that you can dream, you know, like you sit with a brand and you're like, I would like to do this and this and that. And if it aligns with them, and if they have a brand manager who kind of like believes in the culture,
Keyword, culture.
Then you can experiment and you can have the greatest ideas. Brands who are stuck in small boxes don't do well, because then you're not willing to try out these new ideas that people like myself come up with. So I think brands are so important for events. Like without them, I don't know if we can actually make events, you know?
I guess you're the right person to ask this question, but how do you host a profitable event in South Africa in a recession?
Whew. First of all, let's start with budgets. We always want to throw money at things. But when you budget and you understand what's coming in and what's coming out, you'll be able to host successfully, because you'll know when to draw the line, whether to book like black coffee or Durban Cocoa, for example. You know, you can dream for both, but like, what does your budget take? And for me, to build a successful event in South Africa is when the priority is the people at the event and not you or how much money you're going to make at the event. If we are consistently, you know, obsessed with how are people going to enjoy this event? What does this event look like? You know, it's more than just like sound, DJs, seating. It's a whole vibe curation that you do. And it takes a strategy. I think I said this in the last podcast, that it takes a strategy of understanding who your target market is, dates, weather, all these other things. But I think a successful event comes from wanting to do an event so that people can enjoy it. Not you, so you can go on stage and everyone can see that, oh, there, Jax made the event. Nah, it's about the people.
What joy comes from this for you?
Excuse me?
What joy do you get from it? Because like, evidently it's not the money thing, right?
Yeah.
But what actually keeps you going to make more? Because if it was a money grab,
Yeah.
you would have figured out how to like charge more. Because
Yeah.
there's a beauty in most until events.
Yeah.
You're able to get access even if you don't have budget at that stage.
Yeah.
Just because you were early.
Yeah. So I think what it's gonna sound so hullabaloo, but like there are moments at like an event, Sunday roast, good morning, whatever it might be, where people are so happy. It's so crazy to me. Like everyone's so bright-eyed and like, oh my God, this is the best time ever. That's what I feed off of. That's what makes it fun for me, is that like that engagement with different people and how happy they are. And for 10 hours, they forget about all their problems and they're here. That's what makes it fun for me. And also just like seeing what artists and musicians can do. Like last year, at Holiday Club, I watched KO. I hadn't seen KO perform in a very long time. And I was standing in the shoot and I watched him put on this insane performance. And that kind of gave me like those goosebumps that said like, this is why you do it. Like you're pushing music, you're pushing fun, you're pushing food with your food sponsors, and you genuinely are in the business of making people happy.
Damn. Business of making people happy. That's the title of the episode. What, in the whole essence of eventing, right?
Yeah.
What do you think is lacking right now that brands can plug more into? Because you've said you want more events, but what is the one thing that is the new loophole?
The one thing I would say that's missing is uniqueness. And then I think South Africa has lost its live shows. And when I say live shows, I mean like Blackie coming with a drummer and a guitar, and there's a whole show that he's doing maybe, or like we've come up with a Good Morning where you can do all these live shows and you hear an artist further than just like the song and the backtrack. Do you know what I mean? I think for me, live music it's missing in South Africa, and I think brands should tap into more events that are tapping into live music. You know, there was a time we had a DJ Fresh, and he used to travel everywhere with this drummer. And those performances are the best performances I've seen. Not because it's just like, oh, you're looking at DJ Fresh, but because that drummer was playing and people were so enthusiastic about like, there's an instrument and he's matching the beat and it's loud and it adds an extra element to the event. So I would say that, and then brands, I would hope would tap into, you know, events that are more unique in their output. And that's also quite a difficult question, or rather answer, to what makes an event unique.
Yeah.
Maybe it's promoters who are thinking outside the box, you know, promoters who are finding new venues, promoters who have, you know, new and different decor, or like, I don't know how to explain it, but like something that's different, you know, because we've entered the lull now where everything kind of looks the same. And now we need to differentiate ourselves. And I think brands should tap into those people that are differentiating themselves amongst the rest, I guess.
What's the distinctive difference you've started to experience now that you guys have moved into more corporate eventing, where it's no longer about us, it's about corporate, their dreams, their ambitions? How's that experience been?
Corporates are interesting. They want to be cool, but they also still want a lot of power, right? So the tug and pull currently with corporates is just like, trust me, I know what I'm doing, and trust me, if we do it this way, you will have a better experience for your, you know, for your employees or whoever you're hosting the event for. But it's also been an incredible learning lessons of like process. You know, if I've been running my business for 10 years, we have our own processes. When you see how corporates do their processes, you're like, damn, that's actually way more efficient than how we've been doing it. So there's this like push and pull of like, I'm learning, but at the same time, I'm like, let me guide you. And I think that's the experience right now.
That's crazy. You know, every time I see you do personal content and it has nothing to do with the business, I always ask myself, because you do something really well. I don't think people highlight it enough, but you will work with everyone. You put every brand in the group chats like, yeah, we can do this for this.
Yeah.
How do you think the youth can escape this thing of like, yeah, but they send me free shoes? Or this no payment brand loyalty people have started to build. And those relations, how do you actually talk to brand A and B to say, yo, this was great, this is what we did, but there's more opportunity for me here?
I think for me, because I've always understood that as a person, I'm multifaceted, right? There's no person in the world who just wears one brand. There's no person in the world who just drinks one thing. If they are the exception to the rule. So I think when whatever you put out is, I've used the word authentic many times today, is authentic.
Sounds like a pitch deck.
When something is authentic, brands will want to buy into it even if they are competitors, because you're selling yourself in the brand as opposed to selling the brand. I always say there's a difference between a human billboard and an influencer. A human billboard is, hi, drink this Johnnie Walker. Done, you know. An influencer for me is someone who consumes the product, you know, has range to show you that, yes, I do enjoy this thing, but I'm also human and I enjoy other things. And once you can kind of like relay that to people and the public in general, they can then trust you more. That it's not just about the check, that you are, I really like Johnnie Walker. I drink Johnnie Walker even when I don't have to post about it. You know what I mean? That's what makes me authentic to the brand, because I like whiskey. And then another day I'll have a glass of wine. And I'll show that I also drink wine. So I think that kind of like ability to show people that I am multifaceted. I would never put myself in a box. I wear all kinds of brands. I drink all kinds of things. And so I think that's where my strength maybe lies, in that I'm real about my life. And maybe I don't necessarily have the stress of having influencing as my only job. Therefore, I can do more or experience more. But yeah, I think it's about real influence. I think that's the difference. Like,
when did it hit you that, oh damn, I'm actually a brand now? Because at first you were building a brand as a collective for eventing, for all these things. When did you realize that you're a brand? You no longer viewed as Amahle is a brand.
I think it was the first time I got hate in my inbox, in my DM. I had posted about how I had finally graduated after being in school 10 years in and out, and how I had failed economics 5 times. And someone messaged me and was like, you failed 5 times because all you do is party and you never focus and da-da-da-da-da. That's when I realized that, like, oh, it's no longer just me and my friends and my community. Like, people are watching me and are very aware of all the stuff that I do, and now feel the need to comment on my entire life and not just whatever I've posted on that. But in real life, I haven't looked at myself as a brand. I still look at myself as Amahle who complains about eggs in the morning, or who doesn't have water, or, you know,
another citizen in South Africa.
Yeah, like I don't think I've gotten to that point of like, I'm a brand and this is very serious and this is how I should present myself. Because I bring it back to that whole thing of like, I just always just want to be who I really am. You know, I don't want to, I'm not saying that I should be crass for the rest of my life, but I don't ever want to be so curated because I am a brand. You see, I'm even struggling with it right now. Yeah. Because I still look at life as like, I'm just Amahle, just doing whatever I want to do, how I want to do it. And sometimes that is a bit, you know, there's a bit of pushback from brands like, you cannot post that you are hungover. Like, damn, okay, fine. But I don't see myself as a brand I just see myself as myself.
When did you find the work-life balance, considering that your work is sometimes your life?
Oh, I haven't yet. My work is my life, quite literally. You know, it's about to be the long weekend and people are gonna get to like chill on Saturday and chill on Sunday, maybe go to a party. On Monday, they're gonna relax. On Saturday, I'm setting up. On Sunday is the event. On Monday, I'm breaking down. And I don't have a work-life balance really because until operates in a very family business kind of way. So, but I think the work-life balance that I've been working towards is constantly choosing myself. So during the week, Monday to Tuesday, I'm not going to dinner with anyone. After 5, I'm not taking a meeting. After 8, my phone is off. Like, it's a risk, obviously. After 8, my phone is on do not disturb, don't bother me. So there's little things and little activities that I've put in for myself that I do every day that helps balance the work. But I don't think I found a work-life balance yet.
How important are spaces like Rocking the Daisies for creatives, especially in your field where like you're seeing eventing at this mega scale now?
Oh, it's so important, dude. When I went to Daisies last year, there's so many things I learned, things like layout. You know, like, oh, they've laid out this festival like that. That's interesting. They put this here. That's interesting. There are also moments where I'm like, I would have put that there. But anyway, they're important because they put our artists on a grand scale. You know, when you perform at that massive Johnnie Walker jungle stage and there's like probably like 12,000 people looking at you. I was watching Focalistic last year. That must be so like affirming when you're an artist and that's happening in your country, you know. And a festival like Daisies, in terms of design-wise, is also quite important because it kind of like, it teaches you like layout and all these other things. And then for a consumer, you know, they bring all these international artists where sometimes we wouldn't ever see them, you know. South Africa's at the bottom of the world and not like economically, maybe. But like,
petrol.
You know, when you're trying to book an international artist, it is hard to get them to the tip of Africa at the bottom. You know, it's not as easy as them going to Ghana, they're in the top, or them being in Europe, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Daisies also gives us that opportunity to see, like, I am losing my mind that I'm going to watch Stormzy. Like, I am obsessed with Stormzy, and I get that opportunity, you know? So I'm a big believer in, like, the arts and culture and music and, you know, and that's always important for society. Like, we need outlets. And sometimes those outlets come in the form of going to watch a play, or those outlets come in the form of going to a festival and forgetting your problems for 3 days and just enjoying.
For me right now, I've entered like this new phase where it's like the wins don't start to feel as good as like the actual work is becoming more important than the result at this stage.
Okay. In what sense?
It's like, I'm excited to record the podcast.
Okay.
I'm not as excited to post it because it feels like now I have to, you know,
have to push.
Now I have to push now.
Yeah.
How do you keep pushing? It's like you've arranged, you've sorted out sponsors, you've sorted out the setup. Now you must still be there at strike down.
Yeah. I was speaking to a friend of mine today and I was like, I just wish it was Sunday morning because like I still have to go through tomorrow, then Saturday and set up. Teams are important. And I think because you work alone, you don't have anyone else to like motivate you and like push you to the finish line. I'm fortunate enough to have that. So if I'm down, Tools is up, you know, or if Tools is down, Amira's up. And we are just pushing each other to get to the finish line. And it's dope to have a team because then you can also, your doubts, your fears, there's someone else to quell them and just kind of like bring you back down to earth, you know. Even when things are excitable and you have someone to share that excitement with, you know, like I imagine if you had a team, you'd be like, yo, I just recorded the dopest interview.
With Jax.
You know, and it's just like, yeah, I think teams are important, but there's also that thing of fatigue. Everyone gets to fatigued because you've been doing it. Now you're probably asking yourself, what more?
Yeah.
What next? Yeah, find it.
Yeah, I need to find what's more.
Find it.
More budget.
Maybe you do one of those things, those podcasts with people. No, man, you did it this year.
Yeah.
Damn.
We did.
I don't know what else is next then.
All in the year. We had Johnnie Walker come in. How do you maintain relationships with brands on a corporate level? Because it's like you get this blessing and you're like, yo, can it be a blessing forever, guys? I don't ever want to send another deck to someone who doesn't know who I am.
That thing is so hard, hey? Because you know what actually happens is that brands change brand managers. People get promoted. People go to opposing brands. So you start from begin like, okay, cool. Right. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Brands and brand managers just want to see sales. That's how you keep them happy. You just have to keep them happy with that. If a new brand manager comes in and they're like, okay, so tell me about Until, and then I just go, here's my report for the past year. This is how much alcohol I sold you, or this is how much this and this that I brought to you. You cannot deny this, whether you're new or not. And I think also it's very important to ask brands what your KPIs are. So key performance indicators, if you don't know, so that they also know and you know what your targets are. And so I don't have to re-explain myself because last year I helped you meet your targets. So let's do it again this year. But it is scary when there's a new brand manager because you are starting from zero again.
But how do we say that in the most gentle way? Because I don't know, there's a certain tonality texting and emailing lacks where it's like, I'm just like, yo, we good for this because we did this.
Never.
Without being off-putting. Because like I somewhat changed this. This changed the narrative of this. Because like my whiskey consumption was always like chilled environments, and then when you guys started partnering with Johnnie Walker, it was like, oh, cool. Oh, I can have it with mixers. Oh, it shouldn't just be the Janway. It can be more than that. How do you say that in a very orderly business fashion?
Yo, I would need ChatGPT. I'm joking. No, man, it's, I think maybe also when you're approaching a brand, I think a question maybe people don't ask is, what are they doing this year, right? So for example, with Johnnie Walker last year, they were doing the whole flavorcation, flavor code type of thing to kind of teach people that there's more than just a lemonade or whatever. So you kind of have to ask them what their direction is and then find the best English to say that I can do this for you. And this is how I'm going to do it. I don't know if I'm answering your question.
So if I've never built the relationship, like I'm outside, I have a proposition to Until.
Okay.
How do I know what Until's KPI is? How do I approach them to tell me what that is? Because it's kind of tricky. It's like I'm outside, we connected on LinkedIn, you gave me the email, but now how do I get that info to get in perfectly?
Damn, that's true. Websites, maybe check their website and see where they're going with it. But I think that's a very hard question. Maybe I think when you're approaching brands, you're obviously approaching many brands. You're trying to do many things. But maybe approach a brand that aligns with your event per se, let's say. So if it's a Sunday roast, right? We're going to push the whole, there's going to be a bottle and 6 mixers as a package. Yeah. There's going to be, it's kind of like tapping into the things that they want to know because you're coming in from the outside. So you've got to kind of build your proposal for them, even if you don't understand what's in them. So ideate on their behalf. Yeah, finally I landed at it. So ideate on behalf of the brand as well. Think about what kind of brand you're working with. You're working with a Johnnie Walker. They are a whiskey. Let's go onto their page and see what they've been up to. Let's look at their Instagram and see what kind of content are they pushing, what kind of, what's their narrative with or their brand direction for the year. And you then try and tap into that. So if you see that Johnnie Walker's doing a lot of cocktails, maybe then you have like a slide that speaks about how at your event, you're going to do 3 cocktails and they're all going to be named funnily like behind like Johnnie Walker. So I think one of our packages is called the Goldfinger. You know, you've got Johnnie Walker Gold, Goldfinger. It's a package, you buy it.
It's not James Bond.
Yeah, like you know what I mean. So yeah, I think it's a hard question to answer and it's a hard thing to do. But I think it would be adapt yourself to the brand if you're outside trying to get in.
Damn, I'm trying to get in for real.
You're an idiot.
I try so hard to hide it. Like
I can
I'm
tell
always
that.
on my serious face, and then everyone's like, then I'm too comfortable.
Yeah.
And it's like, damn, now you know me.
Yeah, and 2 interviews down, now you're so relaxed. That first one you were serious. You were here. So, Jax.
Watch that again with the Johnnie Walker in hand.
Yeah.
You're looking at your future, you're looking at your outcomes. What's your word to the youth?
This is always a stressful question. I'm turning 30.
Damn. Did I do it the Kevin Hart way? Did I do it for real?
You did.
Damn.
I'm sorry. My advice to the youth would be understand your finances early. Understand saving early. Understand your goals for the future. Because I'm turning 30 and I realized at 29, I was like, oh my God, I'm in so much debt. Oh my God, I'm this and that and that. And then I cleaned it up. I lived the life for like 2 months, saved all my bone, paid off my credit cards. And now I am able to do whatever the hell I want to do. So this kind of advice is going to be more personal in the sense that like everyone else outside in the world is buying the Louis bags, they're driving the fancy cars, but that's a
They're
very...
watching Beyonce.
I saved for Beyonce.
Okay, my bad.
Okay, I saved for those tickets. Yeah, I think last time I gave advice on like the business, this time I want to say things will come when they need to come, but things can only come when you have set yourself up for that success or for those things in life.
No, that's the quotable. That's the soundbite. That's the first one.
You know, we live in an Instagram and social media world where there's very much a lot of comparison. So-and-so has this, so-and-so has that. And that can actually, it can trip you up if you don't know who you are. You know, you'll get your first big check and you'll go there to Diamond Walk and buy a bag as opposed to buying a couch for your apartment, you know, or my mom taught me that. I bought a very expensive couch. I still have it.
Oh, same.
Yeah.
I don't believe in cheap furniture.
Yeah.
That's
You
why
know
we
what
buy
I mean?
premium whiskey, you know, Johnnie Walker.
Not everyone likes to travel, but like I will save for Beyonce before I try and buy a new car. I'm not saying that they equate to the same amount, but like I've been going through this really intense trying to set up my life for my future. And I think that goes with understanding who I am, where I am in this moment, what I can and cannot afford, what I can and cannot do, and kind of building a life and walking towards, see what I did there? Walking towards like my future and the goals that will sustain me for the rest of my life. And that's being financially savvy and not living with pressures of the world.
That's some 30-year-old advice there. You see that?
That's wisdom.
That's lived experience. That's proof of concept. that's on per.
And now my limit, guys, I have to save.
I know.
Why did you man take work? Yeah, no. But yeah, guys, man. These are the bags, Louis Vuittons, iPhone 15s. They'll come, and Mercedes Benz. Set yourself up early so that you're not 37 wondering where life went and why you're not where you're meant to be.
Save up now, so you have more moments to celebrate.
There we go.
And keep walking.
Keep walking and stuff. You should work in advertising. That's a tagline.
You know what's crazy? The only time I've ever applied for jobs was in advertising, and I never got them. And that's why to this day, I've never had a job.
But now you have a podcast. Come on now.
You know why?
Why?
We keep walking.
Ah! Oh, you're so corny. I love it. I love it.
Jax, JUTA De Beer. Is this the second coming?
The second coming. She rose again. I'm joking. That's blasphemy. Yeah, I'm back, guys. The first person to ever do it. Thank you for having me.
And tell them like and subscribe and stuff.
Oh yeah, like, subscribe. How does it go? I'm not a YouTuber.
Like, subscribe. Make sure you buy Johnnie Walker and drink it responsibly.
Okay. Like, subscribe, and make sure you buy Johnnie Walker and drink it responsibly.
If you're over 18.
Please, guys. Please.
Please, eh? Sunshine. Thank you.